I'll start with the last one first. Yeah. The school system usually offers multiple opportunities for information regarding TJ and admissions and regs and that type of thing. So they do it, I know personally, being a Gesher and just being a principal in Fairfax, there are a number of opportunities that they offer on different dates at different sites. And we have the luxury of being such a large county where if one site and date and time is not convenient for parents, being it being a religious issue or whatever, then there are other opportunities for parents to partake of that information. With regard to the Little League, I'll jump to the first one. I think, Andrew, the issues concerning non-school activities are a little bit more difficult to deal with because of the size of the activity and the organization of the activity. As far as sports scheduling is concerned, we certainly would have a problem, or some people may have problems playing on Shabbat, whether it be Friday evening or Saturday day. And when a student gets into that activity, becomes part of that activity, the schedules are there to see. So it becomes either an excused absence, an understandable absence issue, or a choice on the part of the family and the child to participate in that activity that may conflict with their religious beliefs. And then as far as the PTA issue, and the PTA was, what activity was that?
Movie night?
Okay.
Oh. And they basically like, we're a multicultural society.
Right, and
it's not school fun.
and you're a member of the PTA. I think that's a teachable moment. I really do. That, if you have access to a PTA's annual schedule, or if it creeps up on you, and we're not all cognizant of the schedules, and we don't see a lot of the things before they happen, but certainly communicating to the president of the PTA of that individual school that many of the Jewish members of the community are not going to be able to attend that night, and it may have been wiser to in the future certainly to reschedule that event for another night where everybody can have access and attend. That would be my response to those three things. I wouldn't underestimate the teacher. I would communicate.
It wasn't an isolated incident.
Okay, well, but still, if I wouldn't underestimate the teacher, and I would communicate to the teacher the fact that Jewish holidays begin at sunset, the day before it appears on the calendar, and that's the way it is, so that in the future, hopefully, she'll integrate that information and won't, communicate misinformation to anyone. Yes.
I lived it. I was not invisible in the general community and the Jewish education community, and I have two kids who both had to deal with Abba being everywhere, speaking out in public, and having eyes and ears all over. It was very difficult. And I think you have to separate those roles and talk about the role as parent-teacher to them, and they are your first priority, and you will advise them when there is an opportunity, and you can talk over whether they want you to be there or not, and you may, knowing that it comes from an honest, good place, say, you know what, maybe we'll find somebody else, but I am still your prime teacher. I can't leave that responsibility. Teaching others, sometimes I can come in, and I hope you're proud that we are people who know what we're talking about for ourselves, and we'd love to share that just to explain it. But your kids, if you trust them, they may dictate what that response would be in public, because you don't get over that. It's very, very difficult, I know. I would say that, again, there are both clergy, paraprofessionals, there are people who take classes here who are very skilled. You have teachers who you may be able to access for that. And if not, through JCRC, maybe we could talk about who's available to do some of these things and what kind of scripts will take the spotlight away from this Jewish kid too. Here's a Jewish idea that actually is shared by Islam, Christianity, other groups, and have that universal phrasing. It's scripts for your kids as well.
Yeah, I'd like to confirm. So we already have a page on our website, jcouncil.org/schools.
Yeah, my experience with the particular history of religion courses, or just history courses in general, is that the textbooks sort of dictate what nomenclature is used, and that teachers take their cue from the textbooks. And so I think the predominant mode in our society is BC and AD. However, I mean, if the information comes from a student that there are other terms that express the same ideas as far as chronology and time, that those are certainly relevant. And you know, for a teacher, I think it would be a questionable and a teachable moment to say to the teacher, you know, there are books that use other nomenclature. You know, I'm not sure you're curricularly going to change most of the nomenclature in the textbooks or the way most history teachers approach it. But I think it's a teachable moment. That would be my response.
There's a, first of all, and Andrew pointed it out, they do correlate, meaning the common era starts at the year 0 because that's what we're referencing. We don't feel comfortable saying the year of our Lord, Anno Domini. But there are some people who use AM, Anno Mundi, meaning you mark things by important personalities or ideas. That's true. And for a general population where Jesus was that change in the world, I can understand that. We happen to have a calendar where it's 5773. What does that mean? AM. Because for us, the year of when humanity was created and that whole concept of history, that's how we mark our calendar. Giving the rationale, not just the differences, will let somebody hear, understand what it is, but reference it differently for themselves. So more information, more explanation, the better people will be.
We have such a lively conversation, and we know you have tons of questions, but we do need to move on. We want to thank all of our speakers so